Welcome back, everybody, to Two Guys, Three Crowns, the podcast about what it's really like to live in Stockholm, Sweden. Join me, Sean, and my fellow American Rodney as we explore the good, the bad, and the just plain weird. He's moving on up, to the States, moving on up. I'm really bad at lyrics. I know like the name of stuff, but the lyrics just
see. I was gonna go. It makes no sense, but I was gonna go kiss any way you want it. That's the way in. Or no, that's Europe actually. Which is counterintuitive because.
Well, but it could be the final countdown. The final countdown. Right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It is the final countdown for all those out there in podcast land. I am moving back to the United States. I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, he's going back to Kansas.
No.
Okay.
It's not like going back to Cali with my Jacob on, but it's
right,
going back to Miami. Going back to Miami.
Okay. You
can jiggy with it. Yeah.
Okay.
We still have a place there that we've been renting out. So as we hear Dylan screaming in the background for God knows whatever reason.
Toys.
By the way, let's plug our Instagram because Dylan's, I'm sure, going to make an appearance on there because he's been like dogging us for 10 minutes on like, hey, do you see me on the camera now? Do you see me? But
actually,
yes.
It was when the hands started popping up. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. First of all, Sean is sitting in his living room, and then there are baby hands, little hands popping up. Huh?
I'm sitting in my living room as well because, our closet has become our second storage. So there's no way I can get in my closet under the hall like Harry Potter to record because it's just packed, chock-a-block full of stuff. Like you open the door. Like, if you've ever seen those pictures of, like, Minnesota and people open their front door and it's just snow from the floor to the ceiling. Yes. Like, that's how it is with the storage in this closet right now. And our storage downstairs because we have a storage in the basement. And we're like, we're going to have a problem when we go back to the U.S. because this storage in the basement thing, it doesn't exist.
You're actually going to have to start talking to your neighbors. It'd be like, hey, I'm your next door neighbor.
Just hold this stuff for me.
Can you take a couple of my boxes? Would you mind?
Yeah, just like hold on to these in case we need them. And these skis, we can just stuff them right up on top of something. Yeah, you'll never notice them.
Water skis, snow skis.
Exactly.
So is it, I mean, it's so much stuff right now. But is it exciting? I mean, can you see like a Miami sunshine at the end of the tunnel? Is it?
I will say that we did the big thing this week, which we staged the apartment, and then we did the shoot on Thursday. So we staged on Wednesday, where someone comes in and they put their own furniture. It's like an interior designer, and they come in and they like zhuzh up your apartment, and they make it look the most Swedish thing that you could possibly imagine. And some of the stuff...
IKEA furniture. It's like IKEA. It's like
a
catalog.
But seriously, though, some of the stuff, I was looking around. I'm like, we're selling, like, our apartment for, like, a decent amount of money. And I'm these chairs, these wicker chairs, wooden chairs with, like, the weave, like the basket weave. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, those are so 80s. How can you possibly sell... any apartment up above like 200, like 2 million kroner, which is like $200,000, and have these things sitting around inside. I had these when I was a kid, like in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, no, these are like designer chairs. They're like 5 billion kroners a piece, and I'm like, but they look like crap.
Right. Where's the tiki torches?
I know.
Where are the tiki torches?
And then everyone's like, no, everyone likes open grain wood, and they're these chairs are actually really expensive. I'm like, but they look like an 80s doctor's office.
Right.
I can't get over this kind of thing. I'm like, man, okay, whatever. I'll trust you. Like, let's put it on the market. But I have my doubts. It's driving me crazy.
You're going to get like all kinds of messages, people going, hey, I was so close to buying your place. But those wicker chairs.
Well, let's talk about that because so in Sweden, it's very common. Everyone does like the photo shoot and all that stuff. A lot of people, from what I understand, do the styling of your apartment, and then you put it out for everyone to see. And it's like it's just like this bizarro universe that you walk into, man. Like, I don't even know where to begin. And then they're like, I don't know. I gotta give up on it.
I'm getting this kind of this picture in my head of you seen Father of the Bride?
Yes.
The wedding planners and the father of the bride.
Yes.
Kind of,
yes. And already I describe my life as my big fat Greek wedding. If anyone has seen it, it's like the gringoest of gringo white boys marries a super Greek girl.
Right.
And all the culture clash that happens, that's already going on. And then now I got to live in another country that does that kind of thing to me. It's like even more white. And I'm like, no, hold on. My name is Sean Michael Dougherty. I'm pretty white, but you people are taking the cake right now.
Yeah. But things are going according to plan. And I think that we should probably let people know. Because we just laid a little bit of a bomb on people. Yes, Sean is moving back to the States, but our intent and plan is to continue the Two Guys, Three Crowns podcast.
Yes.
And I think that we're probably going to have some pretty funny stuff of Sean transitioning. Sean slowly
if anyone's interested in moving intercontinentally, you're going to find out a lot of stuff right now.
You're going to have info. I mean, you learned so much about me in my episode about visas and traveling and going to consulates and stuff. So just think about all the practical stuff that the Two Guys, Three Crowns podcast is bringing to you. So we have that coming up, and we just wanted to go ahead and prep people. Sean, I saw you today.
Sort of. I looked like an ant, though. Right?
You're kind of a waving ant. But
let's give the people a backstory.
Okay. So most of you that have listened to the podcast, followed it, seen some of the posts that I put up on Instagram. My wife and I are doing something called the Stockholm 5, which is a collection of 5 walking routes around different places in Stockholm. All 5 of them are interesting, fantastic. They range from, I think it's like 7.5 to 8 kilometers to the longest was about 12. So we have done, today we wrapped up the 4th of these paths or these routes, and it was walking around Södermalm, which was walking around a southern part of Stockholm.
Which even if you bike it, it's fantastic. You get some great views.
Yeah, and it's amazing. We got started, and I thought about it earlier, and then I forgot about it. And then as soon as we started walking, I was like, I got to call Sean. I got to let him know because I know we're going to walk by his place. So as we're walking, Lena and I have had the pleasure of visiting Sean and family a couple of times. And my sense of direction is usually pretty good. Today, if
side note, if someone is saying it's pretty good, it's bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell you. I'm trying to sell you on my directional skills. Anyway, I was at a loss today. I saw that big crane that I parked next to one time. There was a big crane. I'm like, oh, the crane.
I know the crane. The crane is the big thing.
And Lena kept on saying very politely. She was like, "That's not it. That's not it." He was like, "It's up here." And I'm like, well, it can't be, up there. And I was like on the total wrong side of the waterway. But Sean answered a call, and I was like, okay, we're coming up here. And he's like, okay, look over to your right and over by these boats. And then I look over, and I'm squinting, and I see somebody waving. So Sean caught us today on our on our walk. It was a doozy, by the way, because it was another...
Södermalm's not that small of an island.
Hey, you know what?
A lot of people live on that island.
Hey, I found that out today. But it has been, it's been amazing for us to do it. We've lived here for 17 years, and have been in the city, to and fro. But typically when we go to Stockholm, it's like destination, we're going someplace. So it's like A to B. And you hear about places, but you typically don't experience them, like you do, like we've done now, because we've been out taking these walks around Kungsholmen, Årstavik. We were up in Brunnsviken, and then now we did Södermalm. The last one we have is Djurgården, so we're gonna wrap it up with.
Nice.
Super nice. We're gonna wrap it up with Djurgården.
But you guys did the smaller one, like the big park on Södermalm the other day, right?
Exactly.
And that has like all those little like the little park houses and all that stuff.
Exactly.
It's super cute.
Hey, there were some uphills. There were some uphills on the. Well, it's one thing to look at a route map and be like, okay, because you're looking 2D. But as we started walking, I was like, hey, what the hell is this? And we so it was up and it was down. It was up and it was down. But it was beautiful.
Yeah, and anyone listening to this podcast for tips, don't be discouraged if your dream apartment has a highway running right through it on the Google Maps, because it's underground.
Right.
Lots of elevations here.
Yeah, no, but we had a fantastic walk today. The one thing, of course, is that since we did Årstaviken a couple days ago, and then we did Söder, they overlap. There is an overlap from like Tandodalen or Tando all the way to Eriksdalsbadet to the swim. So that last, I think it's like, what is it?
It's got to be like a little corner kind of thing.
The last 2,000 straight away, 2,000 meters straight away, we did the other day. So
2,000 meters straight away, like he's in a swimming race over here. Like the last 2,000 meters that you got.
I know we were in a sweating race today, and it was.
Today! Oh my God!
Yeah. But it was because we started off jovial, and if you have checked out Instagram, it was like we were having fun, and I'm posting funny stuff.
By the end, they're not talking to each other, and they're
weren't.
Like, I'm going to sweat this out, and then look at you because it's your fault.
Yeah, people could. I think people could see as they approached us that look on our faces. They were like, "Okay, well, I'm just going to step off here and let you guys pass."
That's amazing.
But one thing that I also want to tell people is the Stockholm 5 that we registered and that we're doing, we paid a little bit of money for it. We're hopefully going to get some T-shirts or something afterwards. But these routes, there is nothing that you don't have to pay anybody to do these. I mean, these are like, these are walking tours that you can do yourself, and I highly recommend not only for people visiting Stockholm, but people that have lived here and that haven't really had a chance to go out and see the city like that.
You think of Södermalm, you think of all the stuff around Slussen.
Exactly.
And all that kind of thing, and all the bars and all that kind of stuff. But there's like a lot of park area on Södermalm. Yeah. That like you don't ever experience. And then like if you take a wrong turn somewhere, then all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, what is going on here? There's like huge trees, and there's like everyone's little like garden areas, which is the famous one that like you have to be basically born into the royalty to get like one of these garden houses. Exactly. And you're just like, what is going on here? Is this a thing? And then you start noticing it in your own neighborhood, and you're like, oh my God, do I need to put myself on the list already? Oh my God. Yeah. I need to be in this.
What was funny today, because we walked by Slussen. So we got, we walked the straightaway by all of the big, Viking Birka shipping lines, and it's not very scenic right there. It's a
no, it is not. Until you get to Fotografiska.
Hey, and we looked up and we passed by. There was a Viking cruise ship just pulling in, and we were like, "Oh, thank goodness that we passed this now," because I have a feeling that it was going to get really touristy really quick. Yeah. But as we walked, what was fun too was Stadshuset, and I'm trying to think what that is. The 3 crowns on the big. what is that? The big
Stockholm like the city hall,
exactly.
Well, once you go under the highway where all the roads go through Södermalm, there once you go under the highway, which is where all the construction is happening, once you get past all the ugly stuff, then you're in like this whole other Södermalm, this like Chris Craft boats like that have been lacquered for years, and you're just like, what is going on? You'll see a beaver there in the water, right. If you know where you're looking. It's crazy. Yeah,
and it was funny seeing the city hall from right as I was walking by, because as much work as I've done with royalty, with photos and photography, all of a sudden I was passing stuff. I was like, oh, this is the angle. This is where all the pictures. This is where everybody stands when they take the pictures.
Exactly.
So I'm standing there in amazement. Lena kept going. I'm like, okay, I'm coming.
No, funny story. So if you keep going down, there's like what is the island? What are the islands called? Essingen.
Right, exactly.
So there's Big Essingen and there's Little Essingen. And on Little Essingen, you can rent kayaks. Mm-hmm. So normally you're supposed to just like kayak around the little island.
Right.
Well, sometimes you have a Brazilian woman in the group and she gets a little excited and she likes kayaking. And then we end up in the middle of the shot of your city hall, and out there the waves get a lot bigger. And I'm like, excuse me, she's like, no, we're going. I'm like, do you think it's getting a little choppy right now? She's like, oh, I hadn't noticed. I'm like, yeah, we need to turn around.
3-hour tour.
Yeah, exactly.
And today, the other walks, I've taken like a couple pictures, but I purposely tried to, just focus on our walks and absorb everything.
For sure.
Today was the first day that I actually took some video clips, as we're walking, some different video clips of different, different angles and interesting
Rodney
stuff.
the influencer, got to be getting the video clips.
That's what I'm saying. So here is an item from the list that I sent you that I wanted to go ahead and explain for you. As we're walking, I'm taking short video clips, really scenic stuff, and walking, and we got boats, and we got buildings, and we got all of this stuff. And I'm thinking, I'll put this together. It's going to be really nice.
I'm feeling it.
Yes. As we round one of the corners, I look over and I see two red kayaks. And I'm thinking and they're you can see that they're tourists in these kayaks.
Okay.
But I'm thinking that's going to be great. I'll get some kayaks in my little video clip. So we're walking and I'm video clipping and I'm kind of following these red kayaks, and I notice
I know Rodney's about to get arrested at any minute right now.
Well, what had happened is well, I saw a guy coming towards us, and he was like giving me kind of a strange look, as I'm filming, because people had seen me filming and nobody was doing. So what I do is, as I look closer to where I'm panning my camera and stuff, there's a dock. There's like a dock behind the kayakers.
Okay.
And there is a topless sunbather on this little pier.
Side note for the listeners: when you go around Södermalm, there's topless sunbathers all the time.
Yeah, but I suggest you don't point your video camera or camera.
Oh, yes, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. So I'm pointing the anyway. It turned into I have the shot. I might have to edit it a little bit, but it was
at least you're a Swedish citizen now, because I'd be like, oh yeah, but I'm a tourist here. I'm on vacation.
Right. Yeah,
people in my country, they don't do this thing. Exactly. I don't know what.
But it was. I mean, it was a nice lap. I actually ended today. I didn't do it last time, but today I actually went swimming. Swimming. I dove in the. I didn't even dive because there was a sign that said no diving, so I jumped in.
Rodney's so Swedish; he follows all the rules.
hey, and I saw somebody dive, and I was kind of like, hey, man.
Can I tell you something? We were at the STHLM Lake today, and every single time Renata will stand over top of the no diving sign, and she just dives head first.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's a sign of protest or she just like sees it and is like, but I'm Brazilian. I'm not supposed to follow the rules like that.
Right. Hey, but I actually had a couple seconds. I hesitated because I was sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I saw somebody else dive. I'm like, well, okay, great. Somebody else dove. I'm going to dive. And then I saw the sign that it said, strongly recommended no diving, or something like that.
Strongly recommended.
Well, it was.
Who's ever stopped at a recommendation before?
Yeah, but see, it's those weird things that I get into those situations where I'm really trying to. I'm really, 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 really trying to, to walk.
But we had a similar conversation today that, like, okay, if you get to like your point where you're a citizen. Yeah. Then you're like, okay, you have your documents, but it's not the same thing as someone who's born there. Like, when people tell me, oh, the speed limit's 45, and I see the road, I'm like, it's a suggestion.
That's the recommended speed limit.
When it's suggestion and when it's like, okay, now we're being serious. Now it's like, legit. Like, okay, calm down. Like, we're being serious now.
Right. But I think that the Swedish thing is you get so worried about what other people are thinking. I think that's the
do
whole...
they have lights on the top of their car? I don't give
I know. But that's the thing. It's like, okay, well, if I do dive off, are people going to look at me and think, wow, what a beep, because he's saw the sign, but everybody else is. I don't know. It's kind of an uncomfortable situation.
Man, where I'm going, they don't even need roads.
Okay. A road? What the hell do I need a road for?
No, not trying to like talk shit or anything, but like when it starts raining in South Florida, it's like white out kind of conditions. Like you would have snow here in Sweden. Right. And the second it starts doing that heavy rain, 4:00 every day, you're driving down I-95 and people start flipping their hazard lights on. And that's how I know you're Puerto Rican, because nobody else does that. Okay. Nobody. And I'm like, that is so illegal to do in the U.S. You'd use your hazard lights when you're like pulled over on the side of the road. So if you were to pull over on the side of the road and wait out this storm, then turn your flashlights on. Yeah. But it's like, you're moving and you have your hazard lights. I'm like, oh my God, people! No wonder we have so many car accidents every day.
I told you about honking. Like here, like honking your horn. I think I've heard maybe 3 cars in 17 years honk their horn.
People don't understand. There's a fluency that you can have to it. It's a language, like French, like me, and like you can go in here, or if it's like. We can like beep, 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 beep.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it doesn't have to be like a road warrior. It could be just like a. But now that I think about it, I was like, but I'd like to honk my horn and wave at my friends. But since I don't have any friends, I guess I don't need to honk. Maybe that's what the problem is.
Maybe that's it.
That's the problem. That's why nobody honks. Nobody knows anybody.
Yeah. Well, they also have that. They don't have that goat that sits at the same stop sign every day. Like, oh, you turn left at the goat, and then you'll know where my house is.
Yes. Hey, so on your, what are the priorities now with everything? It's like getting rid of everything. It's like packing everything. It's like,
so leading up to this point, this week was a big one because we did the styling of the house and we did the photo shoot and all that stuff to like, that's the big kind of piece to go.
That's the heavy stuff.
And we've been, the whole thing, if everyone has listened to last week's show, the whole Block It episode was related to me trying to get rid of all the furniture in advance of that. So I was desperate to get rid of as much stuff as possible, and I should see this stuff coming. But yeah, that's how, like, when you're in a moment of desperation, that's when they get you, you know?
Exactly.
So now, of course, we've done the photo shoot. We have they call visning coming up next Sunday.
Right, like a showing.
Yeah, an open house. Right. Yeah. But then we've also, like yesterday, sold in one shot, one guy and his group of dudes sold the sofa that goes outside, the dining room table, and all the bar stools. So now we got to eat stuff, but we have nowhere to eat and sit.
Right. Yeah.
Which is amazing. I mean, for us, it's fine because, like, we're moving, like, you're in that mode, but it's like, okay, I have to talk to the stylist and be like, hey, you got to bring at least a dining room table in and all that stuff. So, but it's fun.
It's kind of funny because I ended up doing that when we moved here because Lynn and the kids, we packed everything up, got it into a container, and sent it away. So I lived in an empty house for, I don't know how long I lived in the empty house. And then, like, the last couple of days, I think I crashed in my mom's house. But
I need some tips now. What did you sleep on in the empty house? Was it a yoga mat or was it something more substantial?
Well, I mean, you got to remember, back home, everything is like wall to wall to wall to ceiling carpeted. At least it was back then. So
that's clutch. That's clutch.
You can pretty much crash anywhere. It's kind of that college party technique where you just find
just pizza boxes.
You just find a clear area.
Pizza boxes. I mean, the thing is that we've obviously moved intercontinentally before, which is even when every time before has been a company transferring us. So they're paying for the move and all that kind of thing. So you have that stress of, like, trying to, especially in Corona times, of finding a container and then paying for the shipping, and then God only knows when the shipping is going to show up, right? Because everything's backed up. Everything's backed up. Yeah. And, like, the companies, they have a good point. They're like, well, you can pack it yourself, a container, but customs is going to look at us and say, we're a professional company. This is our certificate of that we're not drug smugglers and all that. So they're going to let our containers go through first. And if you pack it yourself, customs is going to go through literally every single box. And I'm like, I can totally see that happening. So it's like, but the problem is now, so we've gotten the big stuff out of the way. We're trying to, like, put the money aside, and thank you, Blockit. That was going to be my money to pay for a lot of that. But so then it's like now all, like, the little incidentals, because you're like, do I have to pay for a grocery delivery? Or, like, how do we get rid of the stuff in the freezer? And then it's like, oh, well, I don't feel like cooking, or I don't feel like going here. So then it's just like, just pay for it. And that's where, like, the costs really rack up when you start moving this kind of stuff, because, like, even we had to get rid of our toaster yesterday.
Yeah.
Because what am I going to do with it in the US? It has a different plug. It's different voltage too. So like, I can't even do an adapter. Like, it's not going to work. I'm just going to, like, light my house on fire. So it's like all those kinds of little details now that are just like, this I remember.
Right. Is this like?
And now I have a 3-year-old to be like, Dada, what are you doing? What are you doing?
What's this? Why are you packing that? Why can't we have that?
I've already told you what I'm doing.
Right. Right. Well, now people know. Now we're going to be following a little bit of Sean's adventure and his
we might be 2 guys, 3 crowns, and 3 palm trees. We'll have to figure out. But the pod will continue. And now it becomes even more relevant, I think.
2 guys, 3 crowns, 50 stars.
Ooh. All right, everyone. That is going to do it for this week's episode. And what a doozy it was. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure you're going to want to hit up our Instagram account now for sure. I know there will be lots of updates about crazy move preparations and all that good stuff. So be sure to check it out and then come back here next time for more 2 Guys, 3 Crowns.